Yeah. Ah, there we go. Welcome to Costa Rica Adventure Team heading off in November. I want to apologize to those that are going to be watching the recording. You might have been frustrated with the Zoom link. It's all my fault. I upgraded Zoom and I lost everything and I'm not too sure how to work it. So sorry. Anyway, for those of you who have jumped ship, jumped links, welcome. Nice to see you. So the purpose of this meeting is to get you mentally and physically prepared for your adventure coming up. So we are going to rattle through your itinerary, your flight admin, any kind of weird or wonderful visas, kit, what you should be taking, health and safety, and phones, Wi-Fi, that type of thing. Okay, so any questions? I'm going to go through each section, okay? And just any questions, get my attention, stop me rabbiting on and ask me so that you are, so that we're fully prepared, okay? So starting with, I'm sitting in the bright sun here. That's better, hold on. Starting with your flights, okay? I'm just going to get the flights on my screen. Here we go, Costa Rica Adventure. So you are a team of 15 human beings, 15 leapers heading off on the 11th of November, arriving on the 11th of November, okay? Because you go weirdly back in time. Okay, so out of the 15, so 12 of you are all on the United flight together. So what would be perfect is that you all coordinate and meet at Heathrow before you get on the flight. You won't be sitting with each other on the flight, so you're checking in as an individual. So just like survive the fittest, just get your head down, watch the movies, eat and drink yourself silly. But really nice to meet at Heathrow. So then when you're doing the admin at, in America, crossing, getting on your connecting flight, then you're all together. So as a reminder, you need your ESTA, okay? Do not go to the airport without your ESTA. For the 4 of you on my Zoom, can you all nod your head? Have you got your ESTA? Good, good. Yes? Now, get it, okay? It takes about 24 hours to get it. So, Zoe, have we got a WhatsApp group set up for... Okay, 1st of November. Zoe will set up the WhatsApp group. So then you can start communicating. In the email that I'm going to send you post this meeting, with the recording of this, I will send you the link to the ESTA, okay? So you go on the right one, because you can actually Google it and go to some really weird websites, okay? So we'll do that. On arrival, so all you on the United flight will all be met together. Everybody coming, the other 3 coming on your individual flights, you will also all be met. As you come out of the airport, you go through custom, you do go through customs at the end. And remember, you cannot take any food into Costa Rica. So if you've got a banana or a packet of biscuits you've nicked off the plane, okay, it's going to be swiped. So as you get off the plane, just remove all the food from your day pack, okay? As you go through the final check, so you go to customs, they check your bags for food, and then you go through the exit door. You go through that big slidey door, and your pickup, your transfer will be there with a big fat sign saying Jaquira the Leap, okay? If it's not there, do not panic. They'll just be parking up and they will be there in a minute. So do not wander off, okay? There's a little cafe just down there, which a lot of people seem to wander off to and go to the loo and buy snacks and things. You're not to do that. You're to stand by the slidey door, okay? You'll be met. And then you'll all be taken to the Rosa of America, which is a sweet little hotel that we always use to kind of unpack chili beans, have a swim, whatever you fancy. Okay, so that is the pickup arrangements. So that's your flights. Right, so your itinerary, okay? This is the order of events that you're going to be doing everything. Your first section is been going to the finca, which is your community exploring Manuel Antonio National Park. Okay, then actually, just going to double check. From there, you're going into the cloud forest for your adventure phase. From there, you go to Natuwa, which is the tough phase, which is your wildlife conservation phase. And then at the end, you've got your beach and turtle phase. Now, because it's this time of year and we can, instead of going to Samara Beach, we're going to Santa Teresa Beach. And you're going to stay at our kind of LEAP hub of all operations, which is at Jacara Camp, which is awesome, in Santa Teresa, which you're going to love. Okay, it's utter joyful heaven. I'm going to explain it in more detail. And you'll go to Montezuma, the Asvo Turtle Sanctuary, about an hour and a half away. Okay, so 4 phases, that is the order. So let's start with phase 1. Okay, what is that? What are you going to expect when you're there? Okay, so you are there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full days there. Within that time, you're going to experience going into the Manuel Antonio National Park to do the waterfall tour and kind of full exploration of that, which you'll love. Please, please, please do not just leap into the waterfalls, okay, before our guides have tried and tested the levels and everything, okay, because it isn't the rainy season, the rains are kind of subsided, but everything can really change and they, you know, could be really full or really dribbly. So be mindful of that. But most importantly, you're going to be doing your community phase with the village, Cocal Village, which is right on the coast. There, we're going to set up for you playing, you know, it's kind of community interaction. What they love, this community and the school, the after school care there for the kids. Can you hear the noise on my high street? Can you hear all of that? It's driving me mad. Oh, will you shut the window? Is oh dear, an accident. Getting back, what you're going to be, what they love with the leapers coming every single month is these few days of interaction where you're going to be helping with the refurb of the community centre, which is a constant re-update because of where it's based, right on the beach. So you get all that weather, so it really deteriorates really, really quickly in the playground. But playing with the kids, doing everything from kind of beach games to stickers to painting to you name it, you're going to be doing it with those kids. So it's a really lovely interactive kind of community phase, and they really, really appreciate you being there. So you're going to be living in the finca, which is just outside the national park. It's a kind of rural, typical rural Costa Rican house, you know, with the tin roof. It's got a pool, it's got a badminton area, it's got a football pitch. You know, it's really, really fantastic place to land for you all to adjust to the time difference, kind of gel as a team. You know, it's just perfect. So that's why it's always phase 1. Costs while you're there. The only cost that you're going to really need to do is all the food is included apart from 2 suppers out. Okay, so that you'll go down to Quepos, have a pizza, have a few drinks. You know, it'd be really, really nice. So that's the plan. Everyone happy with that plan? Good? Right. Okay, so from there, you're going up from the finca, hot and sweaty. Now you're going into the cloud forest where it's higher, 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 much, much cooler. So we'll just discuss kits later on, but this is where you'll be like, oh, thank God for that. Woo-hoo! It's so much nicer and cooler. So here you are there for, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, 4 full days. On those 4 full days, every morning you're going to have an activity organized for you. That's exploring the cloud forest, possibly doing some reforestation if the weather is right, with Eric, who's one of your sub-guides, local guides there, doing kind of every day, every morning, there is an activity. Every afternoon, after a kind of late lunch, is free time. So that is your opportunity to sign up to, well, everyone, you must do the zip wiring through the cloud forest. There's the bungee jumping, there's going horse riding, there's coffee tours, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things that go on. The one thing I highly recommend you do is the zip wire tour. Now, if you're thinking, do I do the zip wire? Do I want to do the bungee jump? Just the zip wire tour right at the end has a Tarzan swing experience. Okay, so when you think you've finished, don't just take all your harnesses off, because you will have the opportunity to climb up into the trees and throw yourself off, into high over the jungle. Personally, that was a bridge too far for me, but you can do that. And you might think, actually, that's the equivalent of doing a bungee jump. That's fine. But you don't need to make those decisions until you're out there. Okay, so we'll come to the costs. Well, the cost of the kind of bungee jump is about $85, the zip lining about $75. Everything else is probably $35, $40. So they do stack up, those add-ons. So I want you to kind of budget accordingly and think, actually, out of all that, that's the only one I want to do, or I've got enough to do too. Okay, dokes? When you're in Monteverde, breakfast and lunch is included, suppers are out, okay, for those nights. So I want you to be mindful, and you will be given all opportunities. Okay, Santa Elena, where you're staying in a hostel, it's one of those kind of, it's full of kind of, it's very kind of folksy, artsy, hippie style places. You've got a few kind of pizza restaurants, really touristy places. But I would ask the guides, you've got great guides, Kirsten and Lizzie, to take you off the beaten track, to go to the local restaurants where you eat local pinto food, lots of rice and beans, but you've got the local experience, which is much, much nicer than going for a pizza, which is what you can do at home. Okay, so just say no thanks to that. This is what we're after, and they're much, much cheaper too. Okay. Right, after that, you are going to Natuwa, to the wildlife sanctuary. Now, this is where you're rolling up your sleeves. It's going to be hot and sweaty. You live in this one big dorm. Well, all the girls will be living in one dorm. Boys, you're going to be living in a kind of next door dorm. Not as nice, I'm sorry to add, but you might be able to swap over halfway, but it's this small accommodation. It's the rough and wild, but it is a wonderful opportunity. It's a local NGO, government-run NGO, and this is, you're going to get up close and personal with some amazing wildlife. You've got to take your earplugs, because the birds and the monkeys screeching all night, you won't believe it. So earplugs are on the kit list. But you're going to be up early, feeding all the wildlife, feeding the birds about 6:30 in the morning or earlier. So it's one of those kind of up early to bed early. Okay, so you're there for 1, 2, 3, 4 nights. You can do it. Okay. Then after that hot and sweaty moment, then you arrive at Santa Teresa. And that's where you will just think you've landed in paradise. Santa Teresa is what I would describe as the Ibiza of Costa Rica. It's uber cool. It's a long town. It's about 1.5 kilometers long, kind of literally one road, the beach on one side, and then a hillside of jungle forest on the other. Our house, Jaquera, is where we work, and it's the hub of all our operations in Costa Rica. Is about a 10-minute walk from the beach up a steep hill. Okay, so it's got great views. It's a really cool jungle camp with a swimming pool, loads of little bungalows where you will live, with a central hub, which is kind of food, hammocks, pizza place, sushi. It's like that. It's really cool and you will love it. Okay, so our challenge here is that you don't go mad and just go woohoo, this is awesome, because there are some projects to be done, some project work. You're going to be do a bit of the surfing because it's one of the top surf beaches in Central America. So you're going to be doing some surfing, some yoga, and a bit of project work. And then you're going to be split into 2 groups to go back to back to do the turtles, because they can only take about 8 or 9 at a time. Okay, so you just go up the road for 2 nights, or it's an hour and a half away, to another place called Montezuma. It's a tiny, tiny little town where the turtle sanctuary is, but it's really cool. You can just wander into town where you're going to be doing the turtle conservation. You're in peak season, okay? So it is highly likely, I mean, of course, you can't guarantee anything when it comes to wildlife, but you are, if you're going to see anything, you're at the right time now. You are going to see probably more mums coming up and laying their eggs, and then you'll be moving those eggs higher up the tide line to the hatchery. So you're going to see turtle action, which will be just joyful. If you see the turtle all being born and released, that is a top moment. So I fingers crossed for it all, but it's a lovely, lovely thing to do. So back to back, and then you'll have a few nights together at Santa Teresa to celebrate the end of your trip before you go back to San Jose to fly home or onward travel. Okie dokes. So just going back to Natuwa, I'm just going to describe the food, what is included in each section. Okay, Finca, you need to budget for 2 meals out. Monteverde, you need to budget for all suppers out. Natuwa, all included. Santa Teresa, you need to budget for suppers out. At the Turtle Sanctuary, all food included. Okay, so the budgets for suppers, in Santa Teresa, I'm telling you now, it is, you know, you've got George Clooney's got a house there. So you've got really kind of des res places. So you have got to choose and be wise. Okay, you are not going to those sushi restaurants and dropping $50 on supper and buying a $20 cocktail. I know it looks nice, but just, you know, no one will have that budget. So just your guides will show you where the kind of cool traveler places are, where you want to go and kind of eat and hang out, banana bar, you know, those types of places, you know, more low key, sand under your feet, that type of environment. So it is all there. The fun is all there to be had. You will love it. Okay. Of the excursions throughout your entire journey that I would budget for, okay, is in Monteverde doing the zip wire, which is about $65 to $75, the zip wire. And when you're in Santa Teresa, you might get offered the opportunity to do the Tortuga Island tour. I think that was, because it kind of all goes up with the exchange rates, about $60, $65. That is a full day out on the with Zuma tours, and you go to the islands, and you've got amazing snorkels, and you kind of hopefully you'll see the whale sharks and the dolphins. That is worth doing. The rest, it's up to you. But if I was going, those are the 2 main ones I would budget for. Okay, and there is no and. Those would be the winners. Okay. Any questions so far? All good? Okay. You're an easy crowd. Right. Okay. So that is the itinerary. Those are the extra costs, the food and the 2 adventures. I'm just going through my list. Visas, You've got the ester. You don't need anything for entering Costa Rica. Kit, okay? In your MyLeap, there is a kit list, okay, of stuff to take. Just a few top tips. You need a day bag, a day rucksack. Okay, it can be like your old school bag if you've still got that lurking around. I'm talking kind of 20-litre-ish little backpack. Okay, for when you're hiking through the cloud forest, hiking through the jungle, just so you've got your water, your hat, your sun cream, sunglasses, a towel. Okay, that's what you definitely need. Your main bags, okay, it needs to be a squishy bag. I don't care if it's a rucksack, a duffel bag, a bin bag. Okay, it's got to be squishy so it can be thrown on the top of the minibus and strapped to it. Okay, no those hard shell wheelie bags, wheelie things are allowed. Hard shells, not this trip. Squishy. Okay, it might have one solid frame, you know, and be able to, you know, be dragged if it's one of those mountain equipment North Face style bags. They're brilliant. So it can have one side which has got a frame to it, but do you understand what I mean? Okay, squishy. Hat, sunglasses, water bottle. When it comes to your water bottle, please take something that's like a chili water bottle, which is hard. Do not take a plastic water bottle. The reason being, if you leave it out in the sun, the water heats up. It's just not good for you. Bacteria spreads. They're useless. Okay, so you need a chili style bottle. Yep. Money belts. What are you going to take when you go out in the evenings? Okay, think that one through. Okay, when you go out in the evenings, especially in Santa Teresa, you're not going to take your rucksack. You know, you're going to want to take, girls, a little kind of crossover body bag, which is on you all the time, which has your phone and your money. Okay, that's it when you go out in the evenings. Boys, take some form of kind of, if you've got a money belt, brilliant. I know they're really tragic, but you can cool them up. You can make them look snazzy. But, you know, when you're going out in the evenings, the biggest risk that you're going to have, and it happens with every group, is you have a few drinks, you put your rucksack down, you all get up and go, oh, let's go and dance to this. You leave your rucksacks where they are, and when you come back, one might not be there. Okay, so little kind of crossbody money belt, purse thing on your body, never leaves it for going out in the evenings. All right. Other things with clothes, in 3 of those phases, you're going to be hot and sweaty. So light clothes, strappy tops, pair of Birkenstocks. Well, if I was talking shoes, a pair of Birkenstocks, the plastic ones, are the best thing you can take. They are awesome. A pair of trainers, which you don't care if they don't come home with you, for trekking through the kind of the jungle and the cloud forest, and they can smell and you can leave them there. Okay. And then presumably you want your kind of nice trainers for going out in the evening. But lightweight clothes, because it's hot and sweaty. But when you're in the cloud forest, it gets cold. So you'll want a long pair of trousers, kind of cargo style trousers, leggings, something like that, and take a hoodie, a jumper of sorts. Not wool, you know, something kind of a cotton hoodie is perfect. Okay. Any questions on the kit? All good? When it comes to your medical stuff, if any of you are any medication, please have that in your day rucksack on the airplane. So if your bag gets lost in America and doesn't arrive for a few days, I don't want anyone ringing up panicking saying their medication's in that bag. It's to be with you on the airplane. Okay. When it comes to medication, what do you need? When it, you know, mums, we all go crazy and think that you need kind of swabs and stitches and everything that is required for every eventuality. You don't. What you really need is take some kind of Nurofen, paracetamol in case you get a headache. Dehydration stuff is really, really useful, especially in week 1, because it's hot and humid. You've got jet lag. people do get headaches, and it's often through dehydration. So if you can take some of those rehydration salts, I know they're disgusting, and just get into the habit of taking one a day, you'll thank me. Okay, a diurolite, but you can get nicer ones now. If you were to get a cut, get tonsillitis, get an infection, I don't know, something even worse, break your leg, any of that, do not worry. For you and for parents at home, our guides are there in every phase. You are near a clinic and a hospital, so you're easy peasy to deal with all medical situations. And the hospitals in Costa Rica, the private hospitals, are awesome. Okay, they can deal with everything. In fact, they're so good. A lot of Americans go to Costa Rica to have private treatment, so it's pretty damn good. When it comes to if you did need to go to the doctor, you would go with one of our guides who would help you translate. So it's kind of slick operation. With your guides, okay, throughout your entire journey, you are going to have the gorgeous Kirsten, who is your main point of contact. At 2 of the various intervals, she's going to be backed up with the lovely Lizzie. Okay, both have run 2 years now of our programs out in Costa Rica. Lizzie, in fact, used to run our programs in Kenya, and then last year she moved to Costa Rica. They are really experienced. They're young, so they're fun. You can, kind of talk to them about absolutely everything, but they're experienced and really responsible. In each location, you will also have backup staff like Eric, for example, in Monteverde, who lives there, who runs all the ops. So you've got kind of other people in each location, but Kirsten is with you throughout. So you've got one seamless member of staff, and Lizzie, 2, maybe 3 of the phases, she'll be with you. Okay, and you will love them. Health and safety. Okay, I know this is when I put my mother kind of teacher hat on. You're on your gap year now. You're not on a school trip, so you're going to be treated like you're on your gap year, not on a school trip. However, it is a mutual thing. Okay, of course we want you to go out and have some fun. Of course, this is your gap year. But what we can't have is people tumbling in, absolute loud and leery, really, really drunken, disorderly behavior, because that's so annoying. If that happens, you'll get an email from me saying, you're that idiot in the group. Please don't be that idiot. No one wants to be that person. If you continue to do it, you will then be asked to leave the program. It's that black and white. Goodbye. Nobody needs it. So we have had to do that in the whole lifetime. Since COVID, I've probably had to do that twice. So I hate doing it. It's just really awkward. But it can happen, but very, very rare. When it comes to safety, listen to what the guides have to say, okay? Especially when you're in the waterfalls, especially when you're in the jungle, especially when you're in a tour, don't do what one of the guys did a couple of years ago and put his finger through the cage of the monkeys and wondered why he lost the end of his finger. It's simple. He couldn't believe he did it either. He doesn't know why he did it. He couldn't resist it. Anyway, the monkey latched on, bit it off, job done. It's like, oh my God. So listen to the advice of your guides in each phase. You want no lost fingers. Okay, so that really is it from me. Do any of you lovely people have any questions?
I've got one.
Go, Bert.
What sort of budget would you recommend? Like, how much money would you say is a good amount?
Well, I think the good amount is anything between 150, 200 pounds a week. So 2, 4, 6, 800 quid spending money should be more than enough. But you have got to, as a team, budget accordingly. Okay? You've got to work together on this. You can spend less and you can spend more. Okay? But it depends where you eat and how much you're going to drink, and if you're going to drink expensive cocktails. When you're at Jacara, you know, in Santa Teresa, it's so easy. You can go down to the supermarket and cook your own food. You know, there is that opportunity to do that. No one ever does, because everyone wants to go to the cool cafes on the beach, and I don't blame you. But, you know, you can script it, work together as a team, so that none of you, what I really hate, I feel saddened by, is occasionally you get people who have got huge budgets, and then, you know, they kind of raise everyone's expenditure and people get stressed by that. So, you know, as a team, work out what you want to spend, what you all feel comfortable with, and you work together, and that's part of teamwork. Okie dokes. Anything else?
I've got another one. No one else
Go,
does.
Bert.
What do you recommend doing about SIM cards? Do you think you should sort of get an eSIM or get one at the airport, or what?
Okay, you're absolutely right. Phone, Wi-Fi, and money. Haven't discussed that. Okay, phones. Take your normal phone, okay? Your main phone. Don't play with that, okay? You leave that. If you've got a backup, I call the burner phone, a crappy phone that you've got at home, take that, which you could then use, put a local SIM card in, okay? Taking a backup phone is really useful, because invariably one or two of you will lose their phone, drop it in the sea, and then you've got a backup phone, because there is no post to Costa Rica. Have I made that clear? Zero post. What you leave at home stays at home. There's no post, so that's it. And if you lose your phone, to buy a new phone in Costa Rica will probably cost about £1,000. So take two phones. There is Wi-Fi in Monteverde and Santa Teresa. Patchy Wi-Fi in phase 1 at the Finca. Patchy. So it's just pretty poor. Clearly, that's the word, patchy. When you're in Natuwa, hopeless Wi-Fi. Okay, so for everybody, so when you arrive, talking to everybody being based back at home, we will let everybody know that you've arrived. Okay. But when you arrive at Santa Teresa that first night in that first hotel at the Rosa, you will have good Wi-Fi to quickly text home. But I know a lot of people don't bother. So we will let all parents know that you've arrived. In Quepos, the first week, we'll be keeping tabs. If there is a problem, you could always get communication out. If you need to speak to home, it's always possible. But most of you will just get bored and just think, oh, sorry, I'm going to put my phone away. Until you get to Monteverde, great Wi-Fi. Okay. When it comes to money, take your debit card, your bog standard debit card. And also take have you got Revolut, Monzo, Starling, one of those? Take one of those and load it up. Take $100 cash on you, which is to back up. But when you're there, you're going to go on day 1 to the cash point machine to get the local currency out, which is called colones. It's spelled like colon. Okay, that's what you're going to get out. Okay, you're going to get small amounts, little and often, because it comes in a million denominations. So you feel absolutely loaded as you walk off with a wad like that. It's only about 10 quid, but you know, you feel, you know, like you're a millionaire. You can pay in all the restaurants and the cafes. You can pay on cards, so not Apple Pay, but on your Revolut and debit cards. Okay. Now, when it comes to money management, especially when you go out in the evenings, okay, going back to your little, you know, your bags, your money belts, you're not going to take your passports and everything else out with you. You're going to take out the bare minimum. So if you do lose your wallet, you've probably only lost one card, you've got backup card back at home, a bit of cash, you know, you're going to sensibly work that out. In every place, there's places to kind of lock away and keep your passports and backup cards secure. Plugs, it's American. So you need an American adapter. Okay, that really is the end of my list. Unless Bert's got another question. Come on, Bert.
I've asked my one.
Okay, go, Georgia.
I was wondering if there are going to be like many opportunities to like wash clothes, like washing machines and stuff.
Yes. So when you're at the finca, you can get your washing done for you there. All I ask is that they'll say, yes, we'll do all your washing if you give them a tip, like kind of $10 or something like that. It depends on how big. Wash your underwear in the shower, hanging out on the line. Okay. But when it comes to t-shirts and shorts, you can get that turned around. You're going to find laundrettes and things in Monteverde, Santa Teresa. There are laundrettes everywhere, or someone in camp can do it for a small fee. So yes, is the answer. Any other questions? No? Okay, all good questions. Okay, dokes. Well, that really is it from me. So between now and departure, we are here to help answer any questions. We'll set up that WhatsApp group. Don't be shy in that WhatsApp group. Get communicating. And it just needs one person to start the ball rolling. I know everyone gets stage fright. And just have a wonderful time. We're very envious. Wish we were coming to. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Over and out.
Thanks very much.
Bye, bye, bye.